There is a ton of great news ahead of the Bears versus Rams game this upcoming Sunday during Week 4 at Soldier Field, as the Bears are favored in nearly every category at the moment, and we're back at home. I have also tons of great news about this Bears team for the Bears versus Rams game, and you're not going to want to miss it. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. My name is Nick Brody, and as always, thank you for tuning in. Now, before we begin today's show, like this video if you want the Chicago Bears to win this upcoming Sunday against the Los Angeles Rams, along with commenting your grade of the Chicago Bears defense so far this season. I would give them a solid A- considering they've kept us in every single game, and they're going to do it again this Sunday against the Rams. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's get to 18,400 before Week 4 against the LA Rams. A big factor in Sunday's game against the Rams is how the Bears defense has been dominant so far this season, and they're going to need to be again this upcoming Sunday against Los Angeles. The number 9 defense in yards allowed is just telling a slight edge of the story of the team. They've only allowed an average of 286 yards per game through 3 games, so they haven't even allowed 1,000 yards yet this season. The defense is doing so well, and they continue to prove every single game. They've only allowed 21 points or less in the last 15 games for the Chicago Bears so far, and the Bears only allowed barely over 300 yards last week against a Colts team with a tough running offense in Jonathan Taylor, who's arguably one of the best running backs in the league. They also kept CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans under 20 points, and they have 4 takeaways in 3 games so far. Could have had 5, but that Andrew Billings interception was taken back, which we all know was a bunch of BS. But that's a bunch of big news for the Bears, because right now, Matthew Stafford in a tough LA Rams offense is not looking very favorable at the moment. Currently, they are ranked 7th in pass defense against opponents. So the Bears are only allowing 165 yards against passing teams so far. They're the 17th ranked rush defense, allowing 122 yards per game. But literally, it's like 3 yards in between 10 and 17. So take it with a grain of salt. This defense is doing absolutely fantastic. And keep in mind, all 3 weeks that they have played in the NFL this season, they've gone against top 10 running backs: Tony Pollard, Joe Mixon, and then last weekend, and Jonathan Taylor, all of which have been their worst games of the season so far, by the way. Here's the kicker, though, for the Bears defense. They are ranked 8th best in pass rush at the moment. And the Rams, according to PFF, have the worst pass blocking grade in the NFL at a 33.5. You think we're bad? The Rams are even worse than the Bears. So they're going to be absolutely sending the house against Matthew Stafford in this LA Rams offense. And again, I'll get to in a minute about the injury report, but they are missing a ton of people, and they're not going to be as effective as they usually are. So let Matthew Stafford make mistakes. Let this Bears defense continue to dominate, and that's going to be a massive factor this upcoming game against the LA Rams. They do have a top 15 offense overall from a yardage perspective, but they had a ton of key injuries last week, and they're walking in without Cooper Kupp and other key targets. Football season is here, and the vibes have never been higher. Change your game and elevate your everyday with Via. Via, a legal hemp and cannabis product company, discreetly ships products to your door in all 50 states. Need to stay calm during these NFL games, as we all know. Via's Relief Line is designed to support your relaxation and restoration, and it is an ideal companion to level up your post-game recovery and helps lift your mood no matter the outcome. Via's organic flowers are grown carefully in the United States and the highest quality hemp sourced from independently owned American farms. I really enjoy this stuff, guys. Cloud9 Relief is my personal favorite, especially after some of these last couple of games. But if you're 21 and plus, I have a deal for you guys. Go to the link in the description now to go to Via's website and get 15% off your first order with code J. That's J-A-Y to get 15% off your order today. So like I was kind of saying before, talking about how this Bears defense can dominate, well, that's because they're missing a ton of their starters on the LA Rams offense right now. Right now, the Rams are missing a good amount of folks. Cooper Kupp, obviously a big loss. Puka Nacua is another big loss. Their other wide receivers. So wide receiver 1 and 2 are currently out. Jonah Jackson, John Johnson III, and pretty much the Rams' entire starting offensive line is out or questionable this upcoming Sunday against the Chicago Bears, who, again, are having a very good pass rush season, and they were already struggling with the pass rush blocking from a Rams perspective. Wishing them all a speedy recovery, but this is huge for Chicago. Bears have a rush grade of 70.9 according to PFF, which again leaves them at 8th, and they can feast on this Rams team who is ranked dead last in pass blocking. Not only that, the Rams are one of the worst run defenses in the NFL at the moment. From a defensive perspective, they are also banged up, especially on that defensive line. The Bears at home, after getting momentum with Gervon Johnson on the ground in the Indianapolis Colts, might finally have that true breakout game. Play this kid. You guys will do just fine. Also, DeAndre Swift, don't run into the back of people. But the Bears defense has been dominating. This Rams offense is going to struggle. That's going to lead to Matthew Stafford making mistakes. He is not the mobile quarterback that he used to be. And if he gets one hit, who knows? He might be out for the game, or he might be a little shaken up and not be able to perform at his highest level. So we'll see how this ends up going, but a big advantage for the Chicago Bears. The Bears are pretty banged up at the moment as well, though. Keenan Allen walks into this week questionable already with that heel and personal reason. Hope everything's okay with him. If he does play, I hope he plays and has a huge game, because I need to see that he was worth that 4th rounder instead of getting a veteran offensive lineman with how things are going. / please get rid of Chris Morgan. Kareem Blasingame is also not looking positive either at the moment. Nate Davis is still questionable after not really playing this past week against the Colts. And to be honest, I'm okay with that. I thought Matt Pryor did a pretty good job having a 68.2 PFF grade. Zach Pickens also will hopefully be ready to go. He was out last week, but we're waiting to see how that groin injury is treating him. And Terrell Smith, who was hurt during the Colts game, is out according to a high ankle sprain. So hopefully maybe wrap it up. He'll be good to go because we need that depth in the secondary, but good to see that he is having a somewhat speedy recovery so far. But I got 3 keys to the games for you guys. And honestly, it's not that much different than last week because the Bears should have beat the Indianapolis Colts. I think we all know that at the moment. But my number 1 key to the game, send the house against Matthew Stafford. Again, 33.3 PFF grade for the offensive line. Absolute worst in the league. The next worst one is 51. So they are bad. If you think we're bad, be a Rams fan. Stafford is not very mobile. He has none of his top wide receivers out there. You still have the top secondary in the NFL with 4 takeaways so far in 3 games. Again, should have been 5 with Andrew Billings. But Matthew Stafford has made a lot of mistakes against the Bears before. He's going to make mistakes again, and I'm hoping to see that again. So send the house, create pressure, let him make the mistakes, let our secondary do what they do best, take away the ball, get the turnover machine going in Chicago. Number 2, use Rashawn Johnson. I'm still mind-boggled that he really didn't play the first 2 games for the Chicago Bears. He had the biggest game out of the Bears last week, 8 carries for 30 yards, averaging 3.9 yards per carry. I will take that any day of the week and twice on Sunday, considering how bad our rush offense has been. But Rashawn Johnson was working against Indy. He also was a receiving back out of the backfield. Our offensive line, even though they were really, really bad, he was still able to make opportunities for himself, run the ball with this kid, expand the offensive playbook, and let Caleb Williams cook, who had 336 yards last week. I'm not taking that away with him because the only guy that had more passing yards than him last week was Dak Prescott, and guess how many passes he had? The same exact amount. Caleb Williams is doing great, guys. I love this kid. I do not lose faith in him yet. If he plays like he did the first 2 games, the rest of the season, then hit the panic button. But you're going to see what he did against Indianapolis a lot, especially against a not very good secondary in the LA Rams. Let's go into the final one, which I kind of was hitting on. Air it out with Cole Kmet. It worked last week. He averaged 9.8 yards per catch and a touchdown on 10 receptions, so almost 100 yards receiving. That is why you paid the tight end. That is why you brought Shane Waldron in a tight end-friendly offense. Throw the ball to the 4th-year man out of Notre Dame. He gets the job done. I want to see the Bears absolutely air this ball out. I want to see them moving the chains, and I want to see Cole Kmet super involved, and obviously Roma Dunze as well. DJ Moore also almost had 100 yards receiving last week. The targets that we should be hitting are hit. Keep it up. Do it again, Shane. Your job. You are not a very liked person in Chicago right now. Chris Morgan's more hated in my personal opinion. But do what you did last week in the air, and you'll be just fine, minus, obviously, the interceptions. But bear down, baby. I want a Bears win this upcoming weekend, and you guys should too. So make sure you hit the like button on this video. Comment your thoughts on the video, and also comment your grade on the defense, A through F. And please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all Chicago Bears news and notifications. But with that, thank you, as always, for today's episode of Just Another Chicago Bears. My name is Nick Brody, and as always, bear down, baby.